Hi, so today in this video, I'm going to be discussing something that is a little bit controversial, and there is some stigma around the sentence or phrase victim mentality. But if you are wanting to move in a journey back towards yourself, towards your authenticity, then looking at the victim within is crucial to make changes in your life to move in a new direction and really understand this as a coping mechanism. So the victim mentality was developed at a young age because of usually being a victim in situations, experiencing things that were really difficult and traumatic, and not knowing how to really deal with it or process it. So by the end of this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can look within and explore the victim within. I'm bringing up this subject today because it's something that I do see with a lot of my clients, and I personally have experienced victim mentality within my lifetime, and it's the actual aspect within myself that I first became aware of when I started doing inner work and shadow work over a decade ago. So it really was the foundation for me to start to take a look at myself with honesty and understand why I was pointing the finger outward and had an issue taking responsibility for things in my life and always felt like a victim of my circumstances. However, if we want to heal and start to have opportunities open up for us to see life in a different perspective, where the world is not against us, but things are happening for us, then we need to take a look at this part and really try to understand the functionality of it and why we continue to stay in this pattern of being the victim. So the victim mentality rests on three key beliefs. So the first one is that bad things happen and will keep happening. The second one is that other people and circumstances are to blame. And the third one is any efforts to create change will fail, so there's no point in even trying. So people who do feel trapped in a state of victimization often experience a lot of negativity, or they can be negative or see the world in a negative way. The person that experiences this victimization state usually has experienced a lot of distress and pain in their lifetime, and it usually stems from childhood, and then the pain keeps repeating, cycles keep repeating. And so this is where these three key belief systems are created. They can have gone through a lot of difficulties where things didn't work out the way they wanted, and I can really relate to this. When I was in my middle 20s, I really did have a negative outlook on the world, thinking that the world was against me because I had experienced so much negativity and difficulties throughout my life and a lot of challenges, and it seemed like I was always going upstream and nothing I did seemed to ever work out. So I really pointed the finger outwards and really did lack a sense of self-responsibility that we do create our own reality, but I didn't understand that at that time. And of course, things happen in life that we're not in control of. It's not to say that we create everything, right? There's sometimes things that come into our life that are unexpected, but it's how we respond to these experiences that show up to us. So the first step I'm going to give you is taking responsibility. And I have mentioned this in a few of my other videos, and I am going to repeat myself again because it is so important. So taking responsibility and how you can really check in with yourself around this is to notice how you respond and react when you are around others, and especially if you're in a conflict with somebody, or if somebody is challenging you and you become defensive and you are blaming the other, and there's a lack of seeing both perspectives, both sides, and coming back and seeing how you played your part within this. What was your role in this? If you notice defensiveness coming up and wanting to defend yourself, well, this could be based around childhood core belief systems and that have carried through into adulthood. So usually when we're defensive, we struggle within needing to prove ourselves needing to prove our self-worth, and then also have attachments towards needing to be right. You're pushing others away, you're pointing the finger at others, and you really do underneath usually know on a unconscious level that you do need to take responsibility, but we have these blinders up, and it's really hard sometimes to see that we are wrong in the situation or take responsibility for our actions or our words. And so this can become a hindrance within and create shame within, again, on this unconscious level. And this just perpetuates the victim mentality, right? Instead of saying, okay, I could have done this differently, but saying, next time I'm going to be aware of this, and I'm not going to point my finger at the other person. I'm going to take responsibility for what's coming up within or my actions. I'm not going to blame others. Then when you do that, you start to build a relationship with yourself. You're being honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, you really can't go into shame. You might have shame about the way that you've reacted or responded, but notice that shame and then bring compassion to yourself and say, I could have done things better, and hopefully next time I do, and now I'm aware of this, but I wasn't aware of it before. And that's what really becoming more aware is. You become aware of things you weren't aware of before. So there's no point in beating yourself up about it if you didn't see something about yourself. And so when we are blaming the other, it really has nothing to do with that person. They're actually exposing something that we don't like within that person that's within ourselves. When we can start to see our triggers with others, where we're defensive or where we won't own up and we're pointing the finger, this is a gateway for us to take a deeper look within ourselves and understand where this victim mentality is coming from. And so then we'll move into step 2. Another part of the victimization towards ourselves is not wanting to make the changes and thinking that the changes that we make, nothing's going to happen, that it's pointless to do so. But if you don't try, how will you ever know? And so right there, those very words that I just spoke is being a victim, right, of life circumstances, thinking that nothing will ever work out for you. But if you believe that, then it's just going to keep perpetuating that cycle. And if you've experienced that, it's most possibly because you have been believing that this whole time, right? We do become our beliefs. Like, our belief systems affect our reality. So if we believe that nothing is going to work out for us, well, then nothing will probably work out for us. So it's really important to understand and see the difference between unwilling and unable. Sometimes we are unable, but a lot of the times when we connect with our will and connect with our power within, we can change the situation. We can take the situation that may have been a bad situation or a difficult or challenging situation, and we can grow from it. But if we stay in the victimization of it, there's not room for growth. And that's what I really noticed when I was younger, is that I didn't have a lot of growth through situations. I did on some levels, but I kept perpetuating the same cycles over and over because I was still staying in this victim mentality, that there was no room for me to grow through it and rise and go, okay, you know what, I'm going to do things differently this time. So it can keep you in repeating these same vicious cycles. And that's where these beliefs come in, that we're powerless or that the world is against us. But really, it has a lot to do with our belief systems about our situation and ourselves. We'll move into number 3. So another part of victimization towards ourselves is low self-worth and low sense of self. To really start to step into a place of self-love is, like I said in step 1, is taking responsibility for ourselves, because the more honest we are with ourselves and others, the more we will start to respect ourselves and love ourselves and see that we can do things in a new way. We can have opportunities open up for us if we choose to do things differently. When we have low self-worth, to believe that maybe we're not smart or intelligent or that we're not good enough, or that people aren't interested in what we have to say or do. So we just make ourselves small and become even more powerless in our own lives. And we miss out on really good opportunities and growth and happiness because of it. So if you do struggle with feeling like a victim to life circumstances, moving in a direction and making the conscious choice to want to start to love yourself in a new way, that takes time, and it's not overnight, but you can start today. And you can start by writing down all the good qualities about yourself, all the skills and talents that you have, what kind of person you are, what are your favorite things about yourself, and start to focus on those things, because someone that's in victimization will tend to focus on the negative aspects within life, within others, and definitely within themselves. So when we start to focus on the really positive aspects within and start to highlight them, we can start to rewire our brain to see ourselves in a new way. And if you'd like to learn self-love tips and how to move in that direction, you can check out my video that's on self-love. Then we'll move into number 4, which is when you are in victimization, you may compare yourself to others, compare your life to others. Well, he has a big house, or he has a good job, and why does he deserve that? And why don't I deserve that? And really getting down on other people's accomplishments, or even feeling resentful towards people in your life that are close to you that may be succeeding in one area where maybe you aren't. And instead of being happy for them, maybe on an unconscious level, there's some resentment or jealousy or envy or even hatred underneath. So this is a good point to look at within to see how you respond to other people's accomplishments, other people's happiness, other people's things that they have in their lives. What does it make you feel? Are you happy for them? So this takes, again, looking within and asking the hard questions. So I have a question for you. How do you see life? Do you feel that life is against you, or do you feel that life is working with you? If you can make a comment below, I would love to have a discussion with you. We have to bring compassion to ourselves that this was a coping mechanism that was developed to survive because of going through a lot of hard things in life. But we do have the responsibility, or we can take the responsibility if we choose to move in a new direction. And that means not labeling ourselves, right? When we label ourselves, we are saying that this is who I am, but that's not who you are. The victim mentality is not who you are. It's just a coping mechanism. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button and share with your friends. My name is Tess. Thanks for watching.